So this is the function, and to obtain the restriction on the domain, the only restriction that we have is that x, it can be equal to 0, and with this restriction we can obtain the domain that is going to be domain, and that x belongs to all the real numbers except the restriction that is 0, and this is the domain. Then to obtain the y-intercept, we have to evaluate f of 0. It's going to be f of 0 is equals to, we factorize this, it's equals to x times x squared minus y over x, and this is equals to 0 times 0 minus 1 over 0, that this is going to be 0 over 0. So in this case, there is a gap in this function, so there isn't a y-intercept. To obtain the x-intercept, we have to equal the function to 0. It's going to be 0 is equals to x cubed minus x over x. And we have to factorize this expression. That's going to be 0 is equals to, the factor common is x, so x times x squared minus 1 over x. And here we can eliminate the x, and it's going to be 0 is equals to x squared minus 1. So x squared is equals to positive 1, and the x is equals to the plus minus square root of 1. So x1 is equals to 1, and x2 is equals to minus 1. So the coordinates is that x1 is going to be 1, 0, and x2 is going to be minus 1, 0.
The event symmetry says when f of x is equal to f of minus f, and the function is x cubed minus x over x. This is equal to minus x cubed minus x over minus x. And you factorization the minus 1, and is x cubic minus x over x is equal to minus 1 plus x cubic minus x over and simplify. This is equal to this, and the function take a event symmetry. Yeah. To obtain the vertical asymptote, the gap, you need obtain the restriction. In this case is x equal to 0, and use limit when x approaching 0 of the function. Substitute the 0, and the answer is 0 over 0. This 0 over 0 is a gap, and you need factorizing the function, and simplify this x. Substitute The answer is minus 1. This is the value of g, and is a gap when x is approaching 0, the value of g is approaching -1, but don't touch because it's a gap. To obtain the horizontal asymptote, you need use the limit for x approaching x infinite and factorizing the function. Simplify and substitute infinity squared minus 1 is infinite, and you use the limit when x is approaching minus infinity. Simplify, substitute, and minus infinity to square is infinity, minus 1 is infinity. And in this case, when x is approaching to infinity, y is approaching to infinity, and when x is approaching to infinity, y is approaching to infinity. Don't exist horizontal asymptote. To obtain the first derivative, the first part is factorizing and simplify. This derivative is equal to pass for this, and 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. Minus 1 is a coefficient is equal to 0, and the first derivative is equal to 2x. To obtain the second derivative, you need the first derivative and derivative. The second derivative of x is equal to the coefficient multiply the exponent multiply the coefficient is 2x, and the one is minus 1 is equal to 2x to the 0. All number to the 0 is equal to 1. And the second derivative is equal to 2. To obtain the IDTs, you need put values in the x in the function derivative, the first derivative. In the first derivative, put minus 1, 0, and 1. First derivative of minus 1 is equal to minus 2. The sign is this. First derivative of 0 is equal to 0, is this 0, and first derivative of 1 positive is equal to 2. 2 positive is the sign. And to substitute this value in the initial function is function of minus 1 is equal to minus 1 plus 1 over minus 1 is equal to 0 over minus 1. Is down is this, and the function of 0 is equal to 0 plus 0 over 0 equal to 0 over 0 is don't exist, and function of 1 is equal to 1 minus 1 over 1 is equal to 0 over positive 1 is up. The critical point is when x equals to 0 and when f of x is decreasing when is to the minus infinity to 0 and is increasing when is to 0 to the infinity positive and the inflation point at x equal to 0.
Listo.
In concavity test, the value of x is equal to 2 and the form of the formula is concave and is possible because it's up and when second derivative of x is bigger than 0 then x is equal to 2 in this case. It's a local mine and it is a place where the curve is concave. Good.
Ya.
Rearranging equal to y minus 1 to infinity. Because it's a parabola and rearranging minus 1 to the infinity don't touch minus 1.
Acción.
The graphic is this. Is this because it's a parabola and take a one gap because this the gap is in this and the parabola coming in this to the infinity. The function of the derivative of the function initial is this because it's 2x and the derivative for second time of the x is 2 and is this. The gap is in the 0, minus 1.
Importance of a graph? Well, at the first, a graph always will be easier to understand the behavior of an object of a movement, and then the graph shows all the exact points of the behavior, like the y-intercept, the x-intercept, the maximum and the minimum of the movement we can see, and how to it's like to predict the behavior of something. In life, we use the graph to do easier the work, like in medicines, in mechanics, in physics, and mathematics. We use the graph in medicine, like with the heart rate, in physics to know the slope or the fall of an object, and in maths, uh, like the problem that we solve, the formulas, and it is a easier way to understand all the maximums and the minimums.